Good afternoon. I would like to share with you an experience I had with communication. So, as grade level chair, I always ensure that prior to field trips, we have a field trip binder. And so, in this particular binder, each teacher receives, it has in the front, it has a list of the students' names as well as columns that the teacher will check off as students send in money, permission slips, check if they're going to bring a lunch from home or if they'll need a school lunch. Also, there's a column for them to check if they're chaperones as well as any costs that the chaperone may need to send in as well. And so each teacher receives this particular checklist, and as permission slips come in, the students, the permission slips will go into that binder. And so when we get ready to go on field trips, all the teacher has to do is pick up that binder and all of the information that they need, the forms with the names, addresses, telephone numbers, all of that information is right there in one place. Also works very well because if a teacher is absent, then all I would have to do is go in there, pick up that binder, and I knew exactly which students were going to be going on the field trip for that particular day. So, in one instance, we did go on a field trip, and each morning prior to the field trip, I would check these binders. Well, even prior to that, during our grade level meetings, I would reiterate that please make sure you're keeping up with your binders, make sure all the information is checked off. Also, I had an Excel sheet in which you would record information in there as well. So it was in two places. So on the morning of the field trip, I would go around, just make sure everybody had their binder, kind of go through, make sure all permission slips were there, because I wanted to ensure that these students had the necessary forms to board the bus. So on one particular occasion, one of the teachers, when I went to go check with him, he said that all of his students were going on the trip. However, through our field trip, our bookkeeper would send us a list of monies that teachers had sent in for field trips. And so I noticed that he had not turned in um, the money necessary for all of his students to attend the field trip. When I asked for his binder, at first, he did not want to give me the binder. And then I had to ask a second time and stand there and wait on the binder. When he finally did give me the binder, after telling me all of his forms were there for his students to go on the field trip, I discovered that over half of his students did not have a permission slip to attend the field trip. So, what I did was I did take that binder and speak with the principal, and then she spoke with him. But it held up our field trip because then she had to go and get verbal permission from parents. And so my question in my mind was exactly what happened within that situation. Every other teacher did have their field trip binder accurately completed. Everything was in order. So it was just this one particular teacher that did not have the necessary forms for the students. I did, as I said, reiterated several times during our grade level meetings that these things needed to be taken care of. Also sent several emails to update forms as necessary within the binder as well as on our Excel spreadsheet. So I was sending out emails as well as verbal communication. So the teacher just did not complete the information, even though I communicated very well what was necessary for students to go on the trip. So the question here, of course, is what failed about this communication. And I think basically what failed about the communication is just the teacher didn't do what was being asked of him to do to ensure that students had the proper forms in which to attend the field trip. So basically, after I analyzed this situation, I would in the future, I would check prior to the date of the field trip. I would go through each binder just to ensure that our field trip is a success in the fact that we will leave the school on time, because that is very important when you're going on field trips, that you leave on time so that the students get to wherever you're going, they get there so that they can enjoy themselves for the day.